What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here. In this one, we go over Michigan graduate safety Rod Moore changing his jersey number ahead of the 2025 season. Plus, the leader on the offensive line, Giovanni El-Hadi, discusses the offensive line, why it won't be a weakness for Michigan football this 2025 season, and why the offensive line has a strong bond. Plus, Michigan strength coach Justin Tress goes over some changes he's made this offseason and some players who have stood out during summer workouts. Jordan Marshall also states that Michigan's offense going to be scary this season and believes Michigan can compete for a championship. And also Blake Corum speaks on quarterback Bryce Underwood, the top-notch throws he was making, and why he's excited for the Wolverines this upcoming season and in the future. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so I first did want to mention Big Ten Media Days, as Michigan coach Jordan Moore and the players will be speaking today at Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas. However, we won't be talking about that in this video. We should be out with a video tomorrow going over everything they said at Big Ten Media Days, as Jordan Moore doesn't even start talking until 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time, since it is out in Las Vegas this year. So I did just want to mention that, but we will be making a video going over everything they said tomorrow. But I did want to talk about Rod Moore potentially switching jersey numbers now ahead of Michigan's 2025 season. He's obviously been dealing with his injuries, recovering from them, and he should be back this season. As he recently revealed, he feels that he is at 85% right now ahead of fall camp, but he did put on his uniform the other day with the number 19, as it looks like he'll be going from number 9 to back to number 19 here for the 2025 season. So I did just want to mention that. Pretty cool right there. And then we did talk a little bit about what some players said at Champion Circle 3rd Annual Golf Classic earlier this week, but there is some more intel from there. According to Alejandro Zuniga, Michigan offensive line and one offensive line leader going into next season is Giovanni El-Hadi, and he recently said that last year was rocky. A lot of different guys, different positions going in and out. Toward the end of the season, I think that's when they really got to see us jump. But now people are starting to get into positions and starting to work with each other now, so we don't have that issue for camp, and we're making strides. We are really becoming one. He did say, it was difficult with defenses stacking the box, though, against Michigan in 2024, as obviously Michigan had no passing game last season. All they could really do at times is run the ball. So, he said they were bringing so many different, our defense brings everything to everything, but it wasn't the easiest thing, especially when they knew we were going to run. It wasn't easy, but he did say, I don't care how many they bring. Honestly, that's the mindset of us. Bring whatever you want. Don't let us hit the hole. You'd better make sure you tackle one of those running backs because they're both talented. And he did promise that the offensive line will not be a weakness for Michigan next season. He said, we train our hardest every day. We meet and take care of everything as a unit. We hang out all the time outside. I feel like that was the biggest difference in the last year. The amount we hang out outside of football makes us closer and better together in football. And he said that, that's a real thing. I remember when I was younger with the great old lines we had, they were always hanging out with each other, and that made them closer, that made them better. And he said, trust me, we are going for people's heads this year. We're going to prove ourselves not just as individuals, but as a whole team, as a unit, each position, and show off who we are this year. And then also, he spoke on true freshman Andrew Babalola and redshirt freshman Blake Frazier, two guys who have a bright future. He said they're both very talented. They work their butts off and act like older guys. And he said he was surprised when Babalola first came. He's a pretty quiet dude, but when he gets comfortable with you, he shows his real side. He's all business, and he's really smart. And both Andrew Babalola, Blake Frazier are competing for starting spots here on the offensive line this season. And then also, Michigan strength and conditioning coach Justin Tress did speak on some players who stood out the most this summer in the strength and conditioning program, and also some things he's tweaked and made changes this offseason. He first said that, Coach Moore had the saying, team over me. That's the #1 goal. It's a brand new team. How do we get them to grow together at a fast rate, but at a methodical pace? as he spoke on In the Trenches podcast. And he said that we have tweaked a few things in terms of some of our running with the skill and the big skill guys, and then some things that are more position specific to the offensive line and defensive line that this summer in particular we've seen a lot of great gains. And he also explained that one of Jerome Moore's directives has been to improve level of strain, and the goal, he said, is to peak in season, and especially for that last game of the season against Ohio State. As he said, the progression will still take place. They'll still be getting stronger. The volumes will drop out in the weight room. The intensities will go up, and they are, by the end of the season, at our physical best. As Michigan last season did have a lot of injuries last season, so hopefully that changes this upcoming season. But then he talked about some players who have stood out during Michigan's summer workouts, and 3 veterans he mentioned was fullback Max Bredesen, linebacker Ernest Hausman, and edge rusher Derek Moore. He said Max Bredesen, returning as a captain, he's been instrumental in bringing the young guys along, but he ultimately said there's countless guys. I think truly with all these upperclassmen and guys that have been here and guys that were here last year, I know they have a bad taste in their mouth from last year and they're taking it personal. But when it comes to the younger guys, he said Andrew Sprague is one, Andrew Babalola is one. I'd say those 2 are big ones right off the jump that stand out to me. And then you look at Andrew Marsh, Bryce Underwood, there's countless guys that I could name, but they're all seeing gains and they're all doing a really good job of checking in with nutritionists, Abigail O'Connor, seeing where their lean mass is at, seeing where their fat mass is out at, and all of that. So I just wanted to mention that. Some good intel right there. Justin Tress in his second year here as a strength and conditioning coach for the Wolverines, and it does appear that he is coming into his own, and the players seem to love him, following the departure of Ben Herbert. But the Wolverines got a good one out of Justin Tress. And then Jordan Marshall, Michigan running back, also spoke at the 3rd annual Champion Circle Golf Classic, and he is really feeling a bounce back season here with this team. Think they can do a lot this upcoming season. We said the camaraderie, the violence our team has, the vengeance our team has. We have so much energy on this team, and I truly do feel that we are a national championship contender. I think we can win it, and I'm excited to see what the guys can do this year. And he expects for him and Justice Haynes, their goal, they want to be the best running back room in the country, and we believe that we're the best room in the country. That's what he said. That's what we strive for, and if something's not at that standard, then there's a problem. To have the camaraderie of that room and how we compete and do things, it's amazing. And he said we have so many high IQ football minds. We got Coach Lindsey, we have Kasula that could be a head coach or an OC anywhere. You have Tony Elford, Coach Moore that was an OC, and having those 4 minds together is insane, and it's going to be scary to game plan against us with all the things and tricks they have and how they're going to use all the weapons. He said this team is scary, and obviously one weapon they have is true freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood. And I know we still got to see him out there on the field, but, he is the clear starter right now. But Mikey Keene also seems to potentially be healthy enough to compete in fall camp, so he'll be competing for that job. And nonetheless, Michigan should just have, a much better quarterback room, and the backups, they'll at least have a good backup. But Bryce Underwood right now is the guy, one of the most talented players to ever come through Ann Arbor. And Blake Corum even was on the Rich Eisen show, and he spoke on Bryce Underwood. He said, I got to watch him during the weekend practice, and he had some good completions during the game, but technically, he should still be in high school, but he was still out there making throws. But he said, man, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. You can tell how smart he is, and he has a heck of an arm on him. But just watching him in practice, the throws he was making, top notch. And he said, I assume he's going to be the starter. Obviously, he has to win that position, but I think it's going to be a good year for my Wolverines. And I think in the last game of the year, we're going for 5 this year. He said you can just feel his aura. You can feel that he walks around with confidence, like he has a little pep in his step. But I believe the way he's carrying himself as an early enrollee, now a freshman, is very mature for a freshman in college, and I think he'll definitely be a great leader for the team and be able to carry this team. And he said, my Wolverines, I think they're going to do a great job, and Coach Moore has been recruiting. So Blake Corum is definitely excited for his Wolverines this upcoming season and in the future. So that's what he had to say about Bryce Underwood. And man, I just can't wait for college football to start and seeing this team out there, this new and improved offense. I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this upcoming season. Absolutely cannot wait. Very excited, and I know all of you guys are as well. But we got Big Ten Media Days today, again starting at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time. It should be televised on Big Ten Network, and again, we will talk about all that in tomorrow's video. But with that, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.